Welcome to Yoga Hour. My name is Brittany. Today's word of the day is power. So when you say the word power, do you feel it? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel like outside factors or maybe even outside people have power over you? When I contemplate this word, I feel a mix of feelings because sometimes I feel as though external factors have more power over me than my own self. But when I get myself grounded and I sit down and I root down, I breathe deeply from my diaphragm, close my eyes and center myself, I can remember that I actually have all of my own power. Anything externally can happen at any time, and it doesn't have to disrupt the power of who I am. So today on your yoga mat, I would invite you to feel the power within your own body. As we move through these poses, do you feel strong? Does it make you feel confident? This will help you to create your own personal power. And eventually, external circumstances won't matter because you'll have everything you need within inside you. So let's begin. Find a comfortable seat. Get a meditation buddy, a breathing buddy. This is Stella. And we're going to start by taking some deep breaths, and then we're going to go through one round of the sound Om, and feel free to join in or just listen. I have cat hair in my mouth. Thank you, Stella. Okay, so place one hand on your lower belly and one hand on between your ribs, like your solar plexus chakra. So one hand on your sacral chakra and the other on your solar plexus chakra. And I want you to exhale all of the air in your lungs. You should feel your lower belly going in. And then inhale, fill up that lower belly, so push out the bottom hand. And then continue to inhale up through your spine into your chest cavity. And hold for a couple seconds. And then slowly exhale through your nose, or you can push the air out as if you had a straw in your mouth. And let's inhale again. Once you get to the top, hold it. Exhale as you're ready. Slow and long exhales. One more inhale. Picture yourself rooting into the core of the earth as if there was a string from your root chakra all the way into the core. And exhale. Okay, you can breathe normally. And we're going to get ready for one round of the sound Om, which is said to be a neutralizing and grounding sound. It will help you to get into your own personal power. So inhale, you can place your hands in front of your heart. You can place your hands palms up on your lap, and then just lower your eyes so your gaze is soft, or close your eyes. Inhale. Okay, and with that, let's come onto hands and knees into a tabletop position. So line up your wrists underneath your shoulders and look at your hands. Make sure that your index fingers are pointing straight ahead and your fingers are separated evenly. You might even turn your hands out slightly if you need extra space for your wrists. And then check to make sure that your knees are directly underneath your hips. And once you are set up for tabletop, curl your toes under and walk your hands forward a few inches so that you're no longer in tabletop. We're gonna go into downward facing dog from this position. So keep your toes curled under as you lift your knees off the ground and send your hips up towards the sky. You can keep your knees bent here to allow your low back to round even more, because that's what we want. We want our low back to curve and then maybe start to straighten your legs. So once you get into your down dog position that feels best for your body, again, you can keep your knees bent. Go ahead and pedal it out. This is our first down dog. So lean onto one hip and then the other, straightening one leg and then the other. Always breathe as you do so. The breath is the essence of yoga. And also breath work without the yoga practice will also help you get into your power as well. So if you don't have time to do a yoga practice, a physical yoga practice called asana, you can just sit down and take really deep breaths, slow, long, and steady, and it will help you to remind you of who you are. Okay, once you have stretched out your down dog, gone for a little down dog jog, you can come to a still downward facing dog. And then inhale, send your right leg or your left leg, it really doesn't matter, up and back into a three-legged dog, and then step through for a lunge. And we're just gonna stay here in low lunge today. Well, for this part, for this pose. So check out your foot that is in between your hands. Make sure that your knee is directly aligned on top of your ankle. And then your back leg can be up off the ground or it can be lowered with the top of your foot to the floor. This is a modification of the pose, so if it doesn't feel good to have your back leg up, then please keep it down. If you want it to be up, then make sure it is straight and strong. You don't want sort of a bendy knee. You want to keep it straight and tighten your kneecap. And breathe here. And then carefully step back into downward facing dog. And then inhale, lift your opposite leg up and back. Three-legged dog, and then step through between your hands for lunge on the opposite side. Knee on top of ankle, foot between hands. Your back foot can be, you want your heel lifted if your back leg is straight. If it's not, if your knee is on the floor, you can put the top of your foot on the floor. And tone your abdomen here and see if you can pull, feel what it feels like to pull this heel towards your back foot and vice versa. It's an action without action. It's just a feeling that you'll get, a sensation. And then step back into downward facing dog. And once you're here, you're gonna lower back down onto your knees and then bring your hands underneath your shoulders again. Take an inhale here in tabletop. And then when you exhale, round your back, lower your head and drop your tailbone for cat pose. You can take an inhale here. And then as you exhale the next time, lift one of your knees and send it to that same elbow. Keep your heel lifted off the ground. Keep your back arched. Tone that abdomen. And then exhale to lower down. Take another inhale in cat pose. And as you exhale, lift your opposite knee and place it to the same elbow. Press down in that back foot. Keep that heel lifted. and then exhale, lower down. And now let's flip it into cow pose. So breathe in and lift your head and your hips. Exhale into cow. Inhale into a cat pose. Exhale, round your back one more time. And then as you inhale, walk your hands forward, curl your toes under again, but this time we're just gonna lift up into a plank position. If this is too much for you, then please lower your legs. You can still find plenty of power if you modify your poses. So hold your plank position. You can choose to do a push-up here or not. Always breathe. And then on your next exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Bring your feet together so that your feet are touching and the tops of your feet should be on the floor. Bring your feet together so much that your kneecaps lift. And then bring your arms alongside your torso with your palms face up. Now you can choose to stay here and squeeze your shoulders together on your back as you lift your chin, or you can interlace your fingers behind your back, bend your elbows, squeeze your shoulders together on your back, and then maybe straighten your arms. If you can straighten your arms, inhale, lift your legs and your chest one more place. Squeeze your thighs and your shoulders in towards each other. Lift your chin out of your chest. Press down on the floor with your hips. And then exhale and lower down. Place your hands outside of your upper ribs and then curl your toes under and lift up for a push-up plank pose. You might need to readjust your hands and hold here. Again, you can keep your knees lowered if that feels better for you. On your next inhale, we're gonna send our hips back again. So bend your knees and then maybe reposition yourself if you need to, but we're going back into another downward facing dog. So find what feels best, and your feet can either be hip width apart or they can be together. That's a little bit more of a challenge. So your feet being hip width apart is going to create more space in your low back. Again, we're gonna inhale, lift one leg up and back, and then exhale, step through for another lunge. This time, I have my right foot forward, and make sure that your knee is above your ankle. So my right foot is forward. I'm gonna place my left hand outside, out about a foot from my right foot. And then inhale, turn to the opposite side and lift my arm as I twist my torso. So this is revolved lunge. You're twisting toward the side where your knee is up. And you might need to push your knee out a little bit. Your back leg can be straight and strong. It can be lowered again, whichever you prefer. And then bring your hand back down, step back into a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, send your opposite leg up and back. And then exhale, step through for your lunge. First check your knee above your ankle. And then place your opposite hand from your foot about a foot away. Turn your hand out slightly so that your fingertips point at the top corner of your mat. And then inhale as you lift your arm and look towards the opposite direction. Twisting your torso in the process, pressing down evenly with that back ball of your foot, your front foot, and your front hand. And you can look down, out, or up. Continue to breathe.
then lower down and step back into one more downward facing dog. From here, walk your feet forward to meet your hands, bend your knees, take your arms and swing them all the way up overhead for crescent pose, but we're going to do crescent triceps. So lift, I'm going to lift my left hand, place my right hand behind my left elbow, close my fingers, and then inhale, lift up, and whichever arm you have up, you're going to lean to the opposite side. So I have my left arm up, I'm leaning to my right, pressing down evenly in my feet, and I'm breathing. And then maybe turn your head a little bit to look towards that lifted arm, and that will help you to kind of twist. And see if you can also square your hips toward the wall that you're facing. Tone your thighs in, engage your abdomen muscles. Inhale, lift up, place both arms up. Now grasp the opposite elbow behind your tricep. Extend up, and then as you exhale, bend over to the opposite side. And breathe into the open space in your ribs. Press down evenly in your feet. Tone your thighs in and engage your glute muscles. And breathe. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, lower down. And then turn to the side. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So swim your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, bend your elbows, and then if you can, begin to straighten them as you squeeze your shoulders together on your back. Walk your feet together. If you can't do that, like if that doesn't feel good for your shoulders, just place your hands on your hips and work towards elbows sort of back behind you, rather than out in front like that. So if you can do the bind, straighten your arms, bring your feet together, bend your knees, and then round your back as you bring your forehead towards your knees, lifting your arms, and try to sit back onto your heels as you bring your thighs in together and continue to keep your abdomen muscles engaged. Carefully release and stand back up, and then come to the back of your mat, facing the front of your mat. From here, inhale, lift your arms overhead, and then as you exhale, take one foot and step it to the front for a lunge. This is high lunge, and you can take as many steps as you need to get there. You can also keep your back knee lowered, again. If it's up, make sure that your knee, we're going for front thigh parallel to the floor. It's okay if you're not totally there yet. Back heel lifted, back ball of the foot should be pressed against the ground. Keep your abdomen toned, and then see if you can feel the sensation of moving your right hip back, if that's the leg you have forward, and your left hip forward. So basically you're squaring your hips so they're in one straight line. Lower your hands, and then maybe scoot back to the back of your mat again. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, take another hop or 5 to the front of your mat. Check out your front leg. First, decide what you want to do with your back leg. If your leg is somewhere in between, please lower it to the ground. It's better for you. If you're going to keep it up, straight and strong, front thigh going towards parallel. And again, if you have your left foot forward, see if you can move your left hip back in space as you move your right hip forward. Continue to move your ribs back. Lift your chin out of your chest and breathe here. Lower your arms and then step back. We're going to do that one more time, just a little bit differently. So this time, place your hands on your hips, and then as many steps as you need to, go back into your lunge position, and then extend your arms out in front of you, and then take your opposite arm. So this is my left arm going outside of my right knee. Twisting the torso again, place your left elbow outside of your right knee, and then stack your arms on top so that your hands are in prayer position and your torso is twisting to the side with your top elbow straight up. And then come back to center. Take your foot back, hands on your hips again, and then step back to the front of your mat into another lunge. You can always lower your back knee if you need to. Knee over ankle, front thigh parallel. Extend your arms out in front of you, and then twist to the side as you lower your torso to bring your elbow outside of that front knee. And then stack your palms into prayer position on the opposite side. And breathe and know that you are in your personal power on your yoga mat. Okay, we're gonna go do one more twist. So come back to center, and this time stand up in the middle of your mat. Bring your feet together. I'm gonna turn this way. Bring your feet together again. So thighs together, feet together. Bend your knees again. Extend your arms out in front of you. And then take your right elbow as you sit back into your hips. Bring it outside that knee again. And we're gonna do this one more time. Twisting to the side, stack your hands, and breathe. Sit back onto your heels. Try to put that weight on the back of your feet rather than the middle or the front. And then inhale, come back into standing. Take a couple breaths in mountain pose. So extend your arms down beside you. Lift your chest. Lift your chin out of your chest. Breathe. All right, let's get back to it. So stay in your mountain pose and bend your knees again. Extend your arms out in front of you. Bring that opposite elbow outside of that opposite knee. Stack your palms. Breathe and twist your torso. Mine is twisting to the right. And inhale, come back to center. From here, come down onto the floor, all the way down. Lie down on your back, and then bend one knee and bring it in towards your torso. You can flex your foot here. This is Recline Pigeon. Just pull your knee towards your chest. Feel the stretch. And then exhale and release. Pick up your opposite leg. Interlace your fingers maybe around the outside of your knee to help you pull your knee in towards your chest. And breathe. And then exhale. This time, bring your feet in front of your hips. Take your hips and lift them over to the left a few inches, and then allow your knees to fall down to the right. In this pose, you may choose to take your right foot and place it on top of your left knee to help you push down your left knee and get more of a stretch. You may not. That's totally fine. And then your arms can be sort of like goalposts or cactus arms, or they can be extended right out to the sides. And then just look to the opposite direction. Place both feet back on the ground. Center your hips. Then lift them again about 4 inches to the opposite side, and then let them fall down. My knees are falling over to my left side, my hips are on my right side, and then I'm going to take my left ankle and place it on top of my right knee. Pull that down a little bit, and I'm going to look to the right. Place both feet back on the floor and center your hips again. And this time lift both feet, wrap your arms around your legs to give yourself a hug, and then you can either rock side to side if that's what feels good for your back, or you can stay still. Your choice. From here, you can go straight into Shavasana if you want, or you can take any other pose that your body may need at this time. I'm going to take a happy baby pose. So I'm going to grab the tops of my feet on the outsides and pull them down so that my thighs frame, well, hello, so that my thighs frame my torso. And breathe. And as you're ready, lie all the way down for Shavasana if you're not there already. Allow your feet to fall open. Allow your arms to be heavy. Slowly begin to deepen your breath.
And then wiggle your fingers and toes to bring some movement back into your body. Maybe bend your knees and roll over to your favorite side. And then push yourself up into a seated position. We're going to end class the same way we begin, with one round of the sound Om. So feel free to keep your gaze soft or your eyes closed. Your hands can be in heart position, prayer position, at heart center, or you can place your palms face up on your lap. Feel free to join in or just listen. Inhale for Om. In honor of you, this path and practice, I thank you. Thank you for practicing with me, and I hope that this has helped you to access a piece of your own personal power. Thank you.